This is CNN Breaking News.
We do have some breaking news right now this morning. The United States is accusing China of illegally spying and ordering it to close this consulate you see on your screen in Houston. China is vowing to retaliate as tensions between both nations seem to be escalating. CNN's David Culver is live in Beijing with the breaking news. What are you hearing on that end, David?
Allison, if any indication from state media is how the Chinese government will follow through with action, then there will be a retaliation here. This is significant. This closure of this Houston consulate, the Chinese consulate there, is something that's provoking outrage on state media, on Chinese social media, and amongst the Chinese officials, foreign ministry in particular. They spoke just a few hours ago addressing this. They say that this could sabotage China-U.S. relations, and they go on to say that it's arbitrary and it's something that they plan to take action against. Now, what you have to put in context here is that they have been saying this with regards to several recent actions. When the U.S. has put, for example, sanctions on Chinese officials with regards to Xinjiang, the far western region, and alleged human rights abuses there, with regards to the U.S. stripping Hong Kong of its special trade status because of China imposing the national security law there, with regards to rising tensions on the South China Sea, and, of course, the pandemic and China's early mishandling and allegations of cover-up. It's all coming together, but this move is significant, and it may just be that China has to meet it with action, not just rhetoric this time. I'm going to read you a little bit from the U.S. State Department. They put out a statement this morning. We know Secretary of State Mike Pompeo is traveling. Top of his agenda is the Chinese Communist Party, as he's put it. He's met with UK officials. He's currently in Denmark. But here's the statement that they have put out with regards to this closure of the consulate in Houston. They say, quote, "The People's Republic of China has engaged for years in massive illegal spying and influence operations throughout the United States against U.S. government officials and American citizens. These activities have increased markedly in scale and scope over the past few years." They go on to accuse China of interfering in U.S. domestic politics. Not a lot of specifics coming out from the U.S. side, but certainly a lot of strong words. I think now, though, Allison, we're going to see that China feels the pressure internally and certainly from a domestic place to respond with action here. So what would that look like? It could be a closure of one of the 5 U.S. consulates here in the mainland. There's also one in Hong Kong, not to mention the embassy here in Beijing, but that's not very likely. We're hearing from Reuters that it could be even the consulate in Wuhan. Now, what we have to put in perspective also is that since the pandemic and the outbreak, which, of course, the original epicenter is Wuhan, a lot of the U.S. diplomats and their families left the country. In fact, it was scaled back significantly in Wuhan. So that closure wouldn't necessarily move a lot of Americans out because, quite frankly, they're already gone. Allison.
Okay, David, thank you for your reporting on all of that, and please keep us posted as to what happens next. John.
Yeah, while we're talking.